take a moment and savor that sweet nectar goodness going down my throat hole. Welcome back, everybody, to yet another episode of Sippin With Sin podcast, where we talk about stuff and things and stuff that are not important to some, but very important to others. And they're important to us. And that's all that really matters in the end of the day. They're important to us. It is important topics that we care about. So yeah, that was my speech, my warm-up speech. But we got a fun episode. Thanks for coming back for yet another week. And we got some stuff to talk about. Spooky season's around the corner, and we are going to be planning some fun stuff for that. And yeah, I can't wait. I freaking can't wait. It's my favorite time of the year. Football, spooky season. Oh, God, I can't wait. Fall, yes, injected in my veins. But let's welcome back our returning co-host, the one, the only, the amazing dreadlock himself, Christian.
How's it going, everyone? It feels good to be back for another episode of Sipping With Sin. How are you?
I'm good, man. How are you? My back is fried right now. I can't lie. Like, I feel like I'm radiating heat. I feel like I'm like I'm like Godzilla whenever he went like atomic. You know what I'm talking about?
Wow. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
I feel like that's me right now. Yeah.
That's not good.
It's lovely. It is wonderful. But as we like to do, we're going to go ahead and get to rolling because we got some stuff to discuss. We like to do every episode. We like to talk about what we've been watching, listening to, reading, or playing recently this past week. So we will do that. I will give you a warning, though, listeners. I have been on vacation, so there's not a lot for me, I'm just going to say. And so it's been kind of chaotic, but I do have some things that I've checked out that we will discuss. Christian, what have you been into this last week?
This last week, I did watch a few things that we will discuss, but I actually only really got to spend some free time watching one thing, and that was more Smallville. I still got the Smallville kick right now, so I'm watching it on Hulu. I will say, while I'm watching Smallville on Hulu, I'm usually doing other stuff, whether that's working or drawing something that I'm working on, like some kind of side hustle I'm doing. I'm usually doing that while I am watching Smallville. And Smallville is, it's pretty ridiculous. Like, looking back at these old episodes, every episode Clark uses his power. Like, the power he uses the most is his super speed. And then he usually uses his strength to toss somebody around, throw somebody, run into someone, or jump in front of an attack for a person, like whether that's getting hit with a bat or a axe, or somebody shooting him and it bouncing off or something like that. Like, that happens quite a bit in this show, so it's really funny to see how they try to explain all this stuff every episode. And he can't fly in this show. Clark can't fly, but in the season finale of the first season, he goes into a tornado funnel to save Lana, his love interest. And he mentions to his dad later on that, yeah. So Lana is in the comics, and that was his friend that he had a little crush on for sure, but they were friends, and they went to prom together and stuff. She was the redhead girl that knew who he was. She knew his abilities and whatnot, and she was super nice to him and helped him, get through a lot of things when his parents couldn't be there when he was in school and stuff. And then he had another friend, Pete, in the comics. We briefly get mentions of him. So they put them in the show, and it's ridiculous what they go through. And then also he has another friend named Chloe, and she runs the newspaper in their school. She wants to work at the Daily Planet. And she also has an infatuation with Clark. She wants to be with him, so it's a weird love triangle. And Clark pretends like he doesn't know what's going on. Like, you get through all of season 1, and then you get into season 2, and he's like, "Oh, I didn't know that Chloe liked me." And it's like, bullshit, dude. She all but said, "I want you in me." Like, it's insane. Like, she's throwing herself at this man, and Lana's with this other guy named Whitney. And randomly Whitney decides to join the military, and I was just like, you're in high school, bro. You can't join anything. Like, what the fuck? There's so much that happens in the show. I'm still in it. I'm on season 2 right now. I want to say I'm about halfway done with season 2. There's so much drama going on, and I got to say, like, every single person in this town in Smallville has a thing for Lana because she is in trouble. Like every other episode, she's getting kidnapped. She's getting her head hit. So many people get knocked out in this show by hitting their head. I was like, you guys should have brain damage, dude. This is insane. But anyway, that's what I've been watching in my free time while I'm, drawing and stuff. What about you, my friend? What have you been watching?
I've been watching the usual stuff that we will be talking about here soon, in the upcoming segments. But I also finally was able to check out the movie Nope. Movie I've been looking forward to. I do really like Jordan Peele as a director. I will say, and this is something I say frequently, up until Nope, and we'll get into Nope. I definitely want to talk about Nope because I believe you've watched it. But up until Nope, like Get Out and Us, to me, were very predictable. I really enjoyed him. I did like him a lot. I like his style. I feel like he has more of an older style when it comes to horror movies, which I totally dig. But I pretty much called both of those movies from either the trailers or the start of the movie. I pretty much was like, hey, this is what's going to happen, or this is the deal. And so they were predictable, but they were good. They were good. I liked them a lot. And so I was very excited for Nope because Nope is different. And I'm really excited that, granted, okay, Get Out, I think there's been something probably similar to that style of movie with that kind of story. Nothing's coming in my mind right now. Us, that kind of stuff I've seen done before. Maybe not exactly, but so okay, they've been out long enough. So Clones have been done before, like movies with clones and then stuff like that. But Nope, I like that he's original. He's not just remaking old stuff from 70s, 80s, 60s, whatever. He has an older style, but he is coming up with new original horror ideas and movies that are their own things that stand on their own legs. And I really, really dig it. So I was excited for this. Nope. To this movie, because I know Christian's got plenty of thoughts. Nope was good. I liked Nope. I honestly say I wasn't really sure. I knew it was... And if you haven't watched Nope and you want to, you might want to skip a little bit ahead because I will throw a few spoilers out there. I won't go into detail on the plot, but if you've seen the trailer, you should know it's a UFO looking thing, right? It's aliens. It's some kind of alien is what they're showing you essentially. I didn't really expect it to kind of play out the way it did with the aliens, so that was cool. It was different. I liked it. I really did like it. So I was a little confused on one of the plots, but I think I pretty much figured it out. And that would be, they show a chimp, with, I'm going to call him Glenn, from Walking Dead. His character as a kid, he was like a child star or something. And they were doing like a show and it had, I can't freaking remember the name of the show now. Do you remember what the show was called? It was Gordy. It was something Gordy, right?
Yeah, Gordy's Home.
Yeah, but it was an episode, and essentially, like the chimp goes nuts and starts killing everybody. And so I wasn't really sure how that would tie in, but I'm guessing it's just like animal triggers, like certain things can provoke an animal, kind of like a bull with a red, like what am I trying to say? A red blanket, red. What am I trying to say? What is it? A red. What are they?
Color red is a trigger for bulls.
Yeah. What is the thing though? What am I?
The flag most of the time.
The flag. Okay. You have that. Horses, you can't look into their eye, like I guess reflection or look in their eyes or something like that. Like each animal has its own trigger, and I guess that's kind of what the purpose of the chimp was. But I thought it was really well done. I did enjoy it. Trying to think. I think it's really cool that. So one thing before Christian goes on a rant, I'm gonna get Christian right away. One thing I do like that Jordan Peele is doing and I think Christian will back me on this. So, like African Americans and stuff like that in horror movies are not usually like real centered. You have your token black guy that will die or something, correct? In most horror movies. Kind of like you have the
That's
blonde, the
correct.
jock, all that stuff. Like you kind of have your stereotypes in horror movies. About the
Yeah,
only real like mainstay black guy in a or black character in a horror movie is Candyman. Jordan Peele is kind of flipping that script. He has I can't say the dude's name. Daniel Christian, you know how to say it?
Kahlua.
What is it?
Daniel Kahlua.
Yes, which he was in Get Out also. He most of his main characters are black, and it's refreshing. It's good. I like it. I like his style. I really do. Man, I thought it was good. It was different, and I dig that. I like when people have original things and they aren't just copy and pasting everybody. And I feel like he's doing that, and he's on a string. I'm trying to think if he helped with Candyman, but he didn't. He wasn't the director of Candyman. I think he was a producer or something.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But he did. Is it just Get Out, Us, and then this? Nope. Is that his
Yeah,
three?
he only has 3 movies right now.
So, what are your initial thoughts? Like, I'm trying to avoid going deep on the plot because it come out in July, but I think it's just now starting to stream on digital. I think.
So I'm gonna go a little bit harder into the spoilers. So anybody who hasn't seen Nope, I will. For the sake of this recording, I will always say spoilers before I start giving the spoilers, just so you know what's going on. But if you really don't want to hear any spoilers about this movie, which you shouldn't, if you haven't seen it, which you should have already seen it, then you might want to skip ahead a few minutes. But going into it, Stephen Young's character that you were talking
Young.
about,
God,
his
why
name
did
is
I not
Juke.
get that? I just wanted to call him Glenn. I'm doing terrible with names already today.
It's all good. It's all good. So you're talking about Jupe, and he has a park and all that. Daniel Kaluuya's character is OJ. His name's Otis Jr., but they call him OJ in the movie, which is really funny because
Quick thing. Does
OJ
he look
Simpson.
thicker in this movie to you?
A little bit, yeah.
Because when I saw him, I was like, dang, he either added some muscle or weight or something because he looked a lot thicker than I remember him from Get Out.
I think they did that on purpose because he's supposed to look like a very capable ranch hand. He's
Like,
essentially
just
taking
a
care of his
strong
father's.
country boy kind of deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think he gained some weight for that on purpose, and then immediately lost it after the movie was done. But what I got is this is what I'll say. This is my second favorite Jordan Peele movie of all time.
Ooh.
Get Out is a masterpiece in my head, and not just because of the subject matter, but because the way in which it was brought to us, the way it was written, the way it was acted, the way it was lit, the way that it was filmed was absolutely perfect. I wholeheartedly think that movie's a perfect 10 out of 10. Nope is when I watched it, it took me a second. I had to think about it. I really did, because I was like, I don't know if I like this as much as the other ones. But thinking about it for just 5 minutes, I realized that this movie was right up under Get Out. I give this movie a 9, solid 9.
Okay.
And it's because Jordan Peele hasn't so far done the same movie twice.
No.
And I love that. He's doing this is kind of a spoiler, so I'm just letting you guys know right now. I'm going into spoiler territory, so if you don't want to hear it, skip. But Jordan Peele has done his like thriller film with Get Out, with the social commentary. He's done a straight up slasher, essentially, which was Us. And then this movie, for those of you who have seen the movie now, understand that this movie is a creature feature, 100%. Yeah. This movie is about a monster. That monster happens to be an alien, and the spaceship that we see that gets a name, and I can't remember the name of it right now. Jean Jacket, right? They call it Jean Jacket.
Jean Jacket is right after the horse. Yeah.
This movie, this is a creature feature. So Jean Jacket is the creature that is being featured in this film, and he takes the Jaws approach for a little bit of the movie. You know, the first half of the movie, we don't technically see Jean Jacket, but then when we start seeing,
I'm into. I like the Jaws approach. Less is more in some cases.
Less is definitely more. But you see more and more of this creature throughout the movie, and it actually evolves. Is something that we don't get in a lot of creature features. It's a transformation. You see it in its spaceship looking cloud form, typical thing that you see, and then it transforms later on at the end of the film, the third act. It looks completely different. So I love that. It took me a minute to get used to the design of this creature, but once I got used to the design and what was going on with this thing, I was all into it. And Gordy was the name of the chimp that you were talking about. Gordy's Home is the name of the show for sure. No spoilers for the moment. Like, I'll talk about the plot, but I'll try not to get into spoilers. But Jupiter's Claim is the name of the rival kind of ranch that Jupe owns, the Stephen Young character, and he's essentially buying up all the horses from OJ's dad's ranch, right? And you find out, I thought about it watching the movie before they let us know, but going back into spoilers right now. So spoiler alert again. Jupe is buying all the horses because he has known that Jean Jacket has been a thing, and he's been feeding Jean Jacket these horses for months now. He's been doing this thing for a long time, and he's been feeding him at the same time every day. And the whole point of this was to have Jean Jacket eat one of the horses during one of the shows to put his ranch on the map, so he can be famous again, right? In the zeitgeist. And his whole character, most of this movie is about people doing anything for fame, and it's social commentary on us today. People do anything on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, just to get their 15 seconds of fame, 15 minutes of fame. And it's insane. You even get the TMZ guy in the movie that's on the bike with all the cameras and stuff. And once he crashes and his body's all mangled,
That was one of the best parts of the movie.
His
scream
over
when he
everything.
Wrecked,
He wants
his like
he
high
wants you to
pitched
get
scream
the
was
camera.
great.
Yeah, his scream was fantastic, and I could totally see that happening. It was great. I love OJ's character because he's the only person in the movie that is really thinking about what's going on. In the trailer, he even asked like, what do you call a bad miracle? Do they have a name for that? He starts thinking about the creature Jean Jacket as more than a spaceship. He was like, what if the ship is the thing? What if that is the alien? Like, he's really thinking about this in
He
a
also
different
has
way.
the best lines in the movie as well. Like, he says
Absolutely.
nope twice, and it is perfect. Both times I was like, that's fantastic. I feel like that's as real to life as you can get. Because I could just see myself, or I could even see Christian, like, turning a corner and seeing something and going, nope, and just leaving. Like, it's perfect.
Absolutely. It's fantastic. I love the way that happened. I love that the movie has made some money. I think it grossed over 149, maybe $150 million. It's gotten some pretty good praise. The performances and the cinematography for this movie is great. But the themes definitely polarize people, like his movies tend to do. You either love this movie or you hate this movie. And I'm on the side of loving this movie, not because it's Jordan Peele, not because I think it's original. All of us talk so much shit about Hollywood redoing the same shit and not coming up with any new ideas. But Hollywood is a money-making machine, and they do what is going to be safe. They do what people are going to buy. The problem is, all of us who talk shit about Hollywood not giving us new original material, we don't fucking watch that stuff. That's why we don't get it. So when you don't support movies like Get Out, when you don't support movies like Us, when you don't support movies like Nope, that is why Hollywood keeps giving us the same shit over and over again. So if you want new stuff, fucking support new stuff.
True.
That's the whole point. So this movie I love, not like I said, not because it's original or whatever. I love this movie because you can't just sit back and watch this movie while talking to some homies, right? You can't watch this movie while doing dishes. You can't watch this movie while folding laundry. You have to be paying attention because this movie asks questions of you. And the typical viewer doesn't like when movies make them think. It doesn't like when movies ask them questions. And that's because the typical viewer, we don't think about this because most people don't really care and shit. But like, here's the thing. The typical viewer isn't a grown human being. It's not a grown adult. It's a child. That's because parents typically have their children go to watch movies so they're not in the house, so they're not bothering them, and so they're entertained for 2 hours. That's the typical average everyday viewer. It's not an adult. So when adults watch movies like myself, I want to be entertained for sure. I want sometimes to turn my brain off, but you know what you're getting into when you watch movies like that. But with movies like this, I want to be into it. I want to speculate. I want to see what's going on because I was speculating about this movie before it came out, and I was like, "Oh, what if the aliens are coming down and they're turning fucking people into horses?" And that was absolutely not not the point of this movie. That's not
I
what
thought
happened
maybe
at
the
all.
chimp was somehow connected to the aliens. I was
Yeah,
trying to figure out that connection. Like, was he an
Gordy
alien?
is
Did he get abducted? Was he like? I was trying to
yeah.
piece all that together, and it wasn't until afterwards I was like, oh, like you said, thinking about it after the fact, I was like,
Yeah.
makes sense. Like,
Spoilers again. Spoilers again for everybody who doesn't want spoilers. I'm going to go into it again. Here's the thing.
if you don't want spoilers, go watch the movie. We both recommend it. We're
Yeah,
just there. You go.
absolutely. But the whole point of us seeing the Gordy's home attack at the beginning of the movie and then seeing more of it later on, the entire point of us seeing that is just to show you that these wild animals essentially can't be tamed, and to show us what happens when you try to use these creatures essentially for your own personal gain, which most of the time means fame and fortune, right? This is the kind of shit that happens. Things trigger them into doing these things, and the only reason why Jupe lived, the only reason why he didn't get brutally massacred during that attack from Gordy is because he wasn't looking Gordy in the eye. And that is to show you that that is the same as Jean Jacket. If you look Jean Jacket in his eye, he's going to fucking kill you. If you look Gordy in his eye when he's on his rampage, he was going to fucking kill you. And OJ didn't look Jean Jacket in the eye.
OJ
He
figured that
looked
shit out
down purposely.
quick.
Yeah, he looked down because he treated Jean Jacket like he treats the horses. That's why
Can
he
we talk about it
treated
being a
him like an animal.
refreshing take on an alien too? It's
Yeah,
very different than what we've got in the past.
I gotta say,
And Jordan Peele throws you a
my
curveball
favorite.
because spoiler, but during one of the Nope scenes, you see your typical alien looking character, like big head, kind of long arms.
That was what I was just gonna say.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite parts of the entire film.
It's your typical what you would see in pretty much any alien movie, like or cartoon or anything, like what you see everywhere. And he throws them at you, but it's actually kids dressed up. And OJ's like, nope. Like when he first sees them. But so you have
And he
that,
punches
and then
the
you get
shit
his
out of
new
him.
take, which is, it's so good.
He punches the fuck out of that kid. Dude, I laughed out loud during the movie. I laughed so fucking hard. He punched the taste out of that kid's mouth because he thought it was a real alien, and he did exactly what I would have done. You fight or flight. I'm gonna fight, dude. Absolutely. He punched that kid and he was like, ow. And he like ran off. They took their masks off and we saw that they were just like, Jupe's kids trying to scare him. So that shit was really funny and I loved it. And I'm so glad they kept that in. But without me talking about the movie for 2 hours, which I could totally do, all I got to say is I love the movie. I give it a solid 9. I thought it was almost perfect. There were some things I didn't like about it for sure. But this almost took the number 1 spot from Get Out, but Get Out is like such a masterpiece in
What
every
did you
way.
give us?
I gave us a 7.5 or 8. I think it was
Okay.
a 7.5.
Okay.
Yeah, because I liked Us, but it wasn't my favorite, and I didn't really like the ending that much, so that's what kind of took it down for me. But this movie, I loved all of it, dude. I was in it 100%.
Was
I was in
Us
it.
and Get Out predictable for you?
So I didn't know. I purposely didn't watch anything about Get Out before I saw the movie. And I mean, I knew the general gist of it. I knew it was a dude going over his white in-laws kind of house for the first
I
time
mean,
and meeting them.
from the start of the movie, though, I kind of got that feel. I was like, yeah. Like,
I
I
didn't
see
know
what's
it was
going
going to
on here.
be. I didn't know it was going to be what it was. What I should say is no, I didn't get it. I knew that they were going to be evil and shit, and I knew, you know, after the scene, because I mean, spoilers for Get Out if you haven't seen it, that's kind of crazy. But in Get Out, one of the first scenes of the movie when they're driving and the dude asks for Daniel Kaluuya's character Chris, when they ask for Chris's ID, and she like goes off on the guy, and he's like, I got an ID, I don't have a driver's license, and she's like going off on him. At first, I was like, yeah, protect your dude, and then I was like, wait a second, why doesn't she want him to give the ID though? Because that's nothing. Of all the things that cop could have done and said, looking at an ID wasn't going to do shit. So that's kind of weird to me that she didn't want anybody to know that he was going out there. So I kind of was triggered for that. And she was just too fucking nice. And usually when things seem too good to be true, they usually are. So I was thinking that. So I knew she was going to be a part of it in the end, but I didn't know to the extent, and I didn't know what was happening behind closed doors. Like all of that shit took me by surprise. The sunken place, all of that. Like I didn't see any of that shit coming. So it was an experience for me the first time I saw it, because I purposely, like I said, I didn't watch the trailers. I didn't do shit. I just wanted to go into this movie as blind as I possibly could. And it was fantastic. And I did the same thing with this movie. I watched the very first trailer and nothing else. I didn't watch any YouTube videos. I didn't read any articles.
Yeah,
nothing.
I didn't read or see anything either.
Yeah, I just wanted to go into this movie as blind as I possibly could, and that was the best way to do it. And those are my thoughts, man. Those are my thoughts on the film for sure.
So I have to give, before we move on, a little more love. Like, this is definitely a long first segment, but we kind of planned this with Nope. Jordan Peele, you already touched on it. Most people, I think the safe approach is to remake something. If you remake a Friday the 13th, a Freddy, Nightmare on Elm Street, Hellraiser, anything like that is already a proven franchise or a formula that people are going to go spend money to watch, even if it's Boo Boo Shoes, they're going to spend money and watch it. Right?
Right.
Like, that's kind of like the safe layup play in horror. Jordan Peele is going against the grain, and I appreciate the hell out of it. Like you said, he is not, yes, he produced or whatever Candyman, but this man went from comedy, which caught me off guard when they announced his Get Out. When he announced he was doing a horror film, I was like, that's weird. It's kind of like, dude from Halloween that's helping. He was in Eastbound and Down. Danny McBride. Yes. Someone like that is known for comedic stuff. I was like, that's kind of weird. But then you see him. If you listen to Jordan Peele, that dude is a horror nerd. He knows his shit. Like, he actually loves that type of content in that genre. And it's so refreshing. I love it. I love what he's doing. I hope he continues to do that. And I have a quick question for Christian before we move on. So, when I think of modern horror directors right now, which I know we could do even more, we could go more into like that genre, but there's two people that are putting out content that is not remakes and it's original and kind of going against the grain and doing their own thing, and they've been successful. It's Jordan Peele, obviously a big name, and then Ari Aster. Which one is better? Which one would you say right now? And hopefully I said that right. Is the better director? Who do you like?
That's really tough because
and if you don't know who Ari is, that they did Midsommar, they did Hereditary and stuff. So there you
go. Like I was saying, that's really difficult because they are very different director. They direct very different types of horror. I think, for my personal taste, and it's not a color thing. It's not a race thing. It's just the way that they tell their stories and where their stories are being told. I would have to say Jordan Peele, only because Ari Aster tends to, so far Ari has made movies that are told in current times for sure, but he always takes those characters kind of out of time, if that makes sense. Like with Hereditary, spoilers for that if you haven't seen it. With Hereditary, you don't see a whole lot of like new age shit going on. Like there's some cell phone stuff in there for sure, but it's not one of those films where it's like cell phone heavy, streaming heavy, and stuff like that. It's more of what's going on with the family and how that progresses. And you know what? Damn. This is probably the hardest question I've ever heard to answer. I'm gonna actually change my answer. right now, I'm gonna have to go with Ari Aster, and this is why. I love Get Out. Get Out's my favorite movie out of all the movies that we're talking about right now. But with Ari Aster, Hereditary, that movie was fantastic. But not only was it good, a lot of the stuff ended up making sense. Minus like the demonic kind of shit going on. A lot of that stuff made sense and how it was shot, and you can see the first time I watched the movie, I noticed like with the treehouse and stuff, and I noticed that they were up in the attic, and when they were showing you scenes from the treehouse, that you were seeing shit going on in the background if you're paying attention. And damn, this is really hard. Okay, all right,
I would say they're your top two modern horror directors.
that's so. Actually, you know
I mean,
what?
do you
I'm
agree
gonna
with
go
that?
Jordan
That's
Peele.
1 and 2 would be Jordan Peele
I'm
and
going. I'm going Jordan Peele. I'm going Jordan Peele. And while I was trying to explain why it wasn't Jordan Peele, I just convinced myself that it was. And it's because one, Jordan Peele made a movie about something that I have been afraid of just in general, that I don't really talk about because it's not like a super big fear, but it's just like being in an interracial relationship
oh,
myself. Like, what if you go to meet your spouse's parents and some shit pops off, so that's very relatable to me.
okay.
And then with us, he made another movie, a slasher with the clones and stuff, and like slashers are typically my favorite types of horror movies because typically it's some kind of mass killer and a weapon of choice, and I like that kind of thing. That's what I grew up watching, so that's cool. And then with this, one of my other favorite types of horror films that doesn't get a lot of love is monster films. I love monster movies and creature features, and we don't see a lot of those right now, especially ones that people put care into, because a lot of the creature features we get are usually sci-fi original movies, right? And sci-fi original movies are notorious for being fucking boo-boo shoes, like Sharknado and shit. The movies are so bad. There is a whole movement of people behind them wanting to be a part of it because it's so bad, right? But that's not what I want, right? I want creature features that you talk about that are good, that's people spend time and money into, and they're really bringing their A game when they're acting. Like, I want stuff like that. So Jordan Peele is definitely my favorite out of the two, but Ari Aster is right on his fucking heels because he hasn't made a movie that I haven't liked yet. So there we go.
Okay. I mean,
What about you, man?
uh, that's hard. I mean,
It is.
so for
How
me,
dare you ask me that question?
Hereditary, my only knock on Hereditary is people overhyped it to me. And for people like us, we're definitely desensitized to scary stuff. For someone to continue, like different people to continuously tell me this is the scariest movie I've ever watched, I was like, really? Like, is it gonna be that scary? And it was creepy. They do a really good job of like random jump things. Like, if you haven't watched it, the movie's like what 3 or 4 years old at this point. A girl's got her head out of a window and she gets knocked off by a telephone pole. It's not funny, but you're like, oh shit, stuff like, or a sign. Sorry. Um, and then there's another part that was just kind of uncomfortable, and it was like a naked old person in a corner or something. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember.
And I was like, oh, okay. But it was a little overhyped for me. It was very, very good. It's just, I shouldn't listen to people tell me it's the scariest thing ever. It's kind of like people told me Exorcist is, scariest movie. Scary Movie ruined Exorcist for me. So when I actually watched Exorcist, which was after Scary Movie, which is my own fault, but it kind of, all the stuff that should have creeped me out, I was just kind of laughing thinking about Scary Movie. But I'm going to have to.
And you screwed yourself on that one.
I 100% did. That's my own damn fault. Midsommar is not, I would not call that a horror movie. I don't really know.
Thriller.
Thriller? Is that what you would say it is?
100%. It's a psychological thriller.
Yeah, I think Midsommar is excellent in the fact that you're uncomfortable. You're not like waiting for jump scares. You're just, the whole movie, you're just like, the fuck? Like, it's constantly like that. And so that's excellent because I know that's the vibe they're going for, and they crushed it. I'm going to have to go with Jordan Peele, I think. I think I'm going to give Jordan Peele the nod right now just because Jordan Peele's How many movies has Ari done? 2? I can only think of 2.
He's done.
Or did he do
I
The Witch?
feel like he did. No, I don't think he did The Witch. Damn. Let me look that up real fast because I don't want to lie to you. I
But
really don't. I don't
I
want to
really
make
like
that.
Nope. I don't know. I think I'm gonna give Jordan Peele the nod. Although Hereditary is up there for me, I do think Hereditary for a modern horror movie is really, really good. It's really dark. It's really
Technically,
creepy.
technically, he's done 3 movies, but we've only seen 2 because his third movie isn't out yet.
Oh,
It's
what's his third
called
movie called?
Disappointment. His third is called Disappointment Boulevard, and it's gonna be a horror comedy.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's got Joaquin Phoenix in it. It's got Nathan Lane in it. It's got Parker Posey's in it, which is hilarious. The
Hmm.
last time I saw Parker Posey, and I remember seeing her, was in Scream 3. Uh, but yeah,
Wi-
it's he's got some big names in here.
Okay, so do you think that's the top 2 horror directors right now? Modern horror directors. I mean, obviously, like,
Modern horror
yeah.
directors, yeah, those are the top 2 right now because other people like people that you would think of like James Wan and shit. Like James Wan is really good uh, at having a spooky atmosphere and jump scares, but that doesn't make a horror movie a horror movie.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's like going to a haunted house. When you go to a haunted house, you expect shit to be dark and cramped and jump scares, and that's what you get when you go to James Wan stuff. That's a conversation for another day. But Jordan Peele, I think, is the better of the directors because, like I
I give
said, he
him the
puts
nod
out
right now
different
for
shit.
sure.
Yeah, he puts out different shit, and like when his movies come out, dude, like it's a whole ass movement. And I agree with you with Hereditary. Like it didn't get overhyped for me because every single horror movie that comes out that the general population
If
likes,
there's anything
they
involving
come to
like
me.
witches and possession, I hear it's the scariest movie ever. And for me, like, I need to not listen to that, like, especially when they overhype it, because there's very few movies that ever like really get me. And like, I don't know that I can't even think of the last one. I've had like good jump scares for movies, but I can't think of the last one that actually like really like stuck with me where I was like, okay, uneasy for a long period. Like
Mhm.
I think I'm just desensitized from watching too much of it personally, but I need to not listen to that. So I went into Hereditary like, if they're saying this is the scariest movie ever, is it going to live up to that? And it's very good. In no means am I like knocking it because of that. That's just literally listening to other people's hype, that may watch a horror movie every now and then or something. So it is a very good horror movie. Midsommar is creepy in its own way, but I think Nope actually tipped Jordan Peele over for me. I think Nope helped push Jordan Peele over the top of like Hereditary and stuff. Because I already liked Get Out and I liked Us. I enjoyed both of those movies. So Nope just
Well,
like
with that
tipped the
being
scales even
said,
more.
dude, with that being said, I think that was the longest opening segment we've ever had,
Yeah.
so we should probably move on.
Yeah, 100%. We've been we got caught up. So, like I said, spooky season's coming up. We're going to work on some content, some spooky content for you guys, whether it be watching movies. So if there's a scary movie suggestion that's on one of the streaming services or something, let us know. We will definitely watch it and then we'll give you our thoughts on it, or we'll plan some spooky content ourselves. But we're going to move on to our next segment. We're going to keep it rolling. We definitely won't dwell as long on these, but we're going to go from scary stuff to Hulk stuff. She-Hulk, episode 3, right? Yeah,
Yep, episode 3.
episode 3. All right, I'm going to say this quick, and I'm going to keep my thoughts short. It's definitely a filler episode, and I'm actually digging She-Hulk. I can't lie. I like the fourth wall breaks. I'm digging it. I like the characters in it. I'm having fun with it. I'm having way more fun and enjoying it way more than Miss Marvel, obviously. Definitely more up my alley. I am waiting on more from Abomination. And I have no clue still who the Asgardian chick was in this episode that could transform, but it was pretty funny. They have the cameo from, oh, God.
Megan Thee Stallion,
Yeah, well, no, that cameo, but I'm thinking of,
Wong.
yes, thank you. God, I could see his face and I couldn't think of his name. His cameo, they've had a ton of cameos already in this, but it's good. Like, I don't know. I really like how they're doing this show so far. I'm excited to continue to watch it. I'm enjoying She-Hulk. The CGI has not bothered me as much as I thought it would. Like it's not really. I see it and I'm like, okay, but it's not like ruining it. And I'm not solely focusing on it. Um, I'm liking it. I'm digging it. I mean, short and sweet thoughts for me. My watching was a little skewed this week because Baby Sin decided he wanted to go Hulk himself and scream the whole time. So that was fun.
Well, my quick thoughts on She-Hulk are similar to yours. Like I do enjoy She-Hulk, the show. I like the character a lot more than I like the show. Like I'm a fan of the She-Hulk and her character. One thing about She-Hulk's character that I don't really like is that when Jennifer Walters turns into She-Hulk in the comics and even in the old animated cartoons and stuff, she stays as She-Hulk pretty much all the time. You don't really see a whole lot of her going back and forth between being She-Hulk and Jennifer Walters like she is She-Hulk. So that's annoying. The other thing that's annoying, she's really meek in this. And She-Hulk, for all the She-Hulk fans of the comics and the cartoons and whatnot, the She-Hulk's very, very, very confident. She's very confident. She's the way that I described her yesterday to my partner was she kind of is like a Catwoman, but without robbing you. Like that's how she feels. That's what her personality is. She's very sensual, sure of herself as She-Hulk. She's a super nice
Apparently, we're having some technical difficulties.
character and everything. Like she has all the best intentions in the world. She's not meek, dude. She's strong. Can you not hear me at the moment?
Your mic was going out pretty bad throughout all that. Like it, yeah. I think you just went.
Can you not hear?
I think you just went to Atlantis or something.
Weird.
Yeah. So we had some technical difficulties. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know what that was. That was weird. That's a first. Christian decided to She-Hulk his microphone. Apparently. Yep. That's what happened. I don't know. I think it's good though so far. The show, just while Christian's working on that.
Here we go. That should be a little bit better.
Okay, let's see. All right, give her a shot, Christian.
Yeah. So with her character in general, like, what's up?
No, go ahead.
Be back in.
Yeah, you're good. Go for it.
So with her, I just don't really like how they have her character's personality when she's She-Hulk. She's super meek and it's kind of strange to me. Aside from that, I do like the show. The CGI doesn't bother me so much. They're fixing a lot of things. Emil Blonsky as the Abomination looks a little weird. Not his general composition and stuff. Like he looks like he's supposed to look from the comics, but his face just looks kind of strange. And I will say I'm getting sick of huge Marvel characters like Korg, for an example, like looking really cool and badass and stuff, but they have these tiny little voices. Like it was funny with Korg the first time, even though that's not how he is in the comics. Like it was funny with him, and I think that should stick with just that in the Thor films. But for the Abomination, like you remember what he sounded like in the Edward Norton Hulk film. Like he doesn't sound like Emil Blonsky. He sounds like the Abomination, just like the Hulk should sound like the Hulk, not Bruce. So when he's Smart Hulk, as they have announced him in this show, like he sounds like Bruce because he's just Bruce with the Hulk's body, but he doesn't have all of the Hulk strength and the rage. And if you've noticed throughout the Marvel Cinematic Universe history, in the Avengers film, the Hulk is at his biggest, and then he slowly gets smaller throughout the movies until we get to him now. Now he's super lean and stuff. He's big, he's like, I don't know, 7 feet tall or whatever, but he's not like massive like you would expect the Hulk to be, and his powers don't work like they do in the comics. So that's a little weird. I do like the show though. This episode was pretty much a filler episode. I really liked the guy, I can't remember his name right now, and I apologize, but it's the guy that works at the same firm as She-Hulk that showed her the best
Pug.
bathrooms for pooping, like that guy.
Pug.
I really like him.
Right.
He's one of my favorite. Yeah, Pug. Yeah, he's one of my favorite characters. Yeah, for sure. I hope we get more of him. Obviously, the She-Hulk twerking post-credit scene is like the biggest thing right now. It's blowing up, and I would be a complete liar if I said that wasn't one of my favorite scenes of the film, of the show, because it was. I thought it was hilarious. It's out of place, but it was really funny because it's not something I expected to see. And I'm glad that they gave Megan the Stallion 2 cameos in that episode because they talked about her a lot. They said her full name a lot. And I was like, I really hope they're going to pay this off because they're saying Megan the Stallion instead of Megan the Stallion. So they kept doing that, and I'm glad that it paid off. But yeah, man, She-Hulk was fine. I didn't hate it. This is going to be a longer series from Disney Plus, so I hope that we really start getting
How many
some
episodes do we
semblance of a
get?
story. I think it's 8 episodes instead of 6.
Oh,
So
I was about to say the
I
next
just
two
want
episodes will
this.
be good, but it may have another episode or two of filler before we get into the good, like the best episodes.
Yeah, yeah, because when they sent the first 4 episodes out for a bunch of people to screen, so like anybody that you see on YouTube that has over 100,000 followers that covers this kind of material, like they got to watch all those episodes for free. So they're just rewatching it with us and giving us their thoughts on it and stuff. So like we got one more episode until we start getting completely new material. And the wrecking crew we saw in this episode, I knew that they were going to play the Wrecking Crew off to be super hardcore joke characters because they're already joke characters in the comics. They're kind of jobbers if you follow wrestling terms, but they're like super jobbers in this show, and I'm okay with it. Like it fits the show pretty well because it's super lighthearted. So I'm just hoping that we get some good shit later on, man. I'm hoping that the show really starts to pick up. I hope that She-Hulk starts to find her own legs. I hope that it just really pays off in the end because we need that. But those are my thoughts on it, essentially.
I've enjoyed it though. It's been fun watch. I'm excited to see where it goes, but I have enjoyed it thus far. Way more than I enjoyed Mrs. Marvel. Just saying. So,
Yeah, it's way better.
but that moves on to our next topic, and if there wasn't copyrights, I would totally play the Game of Thrones music. But we have Game of Thrones spin-off series House of Dragon episode Dose. God, dude, I cannot. So we got the book, me and the missus, and I started reading it. And she told me I need to skip ahead because apparently, if you skip ahead, you can literally get to the source material for House of Dragon. I will say the first few pages though, and going into it, I was like, Jesus, like they dropped so many damn names on me, and like this person was this, and they did this, and they had this house, and I'm like, good God, like it's a lot. But the show has been fantastic so far. I love the show. I've really enjoyed it. The dragon stuff has been cool. Just, it's Game of Thrones, and it's really a weird feeling right now because
A weird feeling, how so?
like you remember when you were watching Game of Thrones the first time, and
Yeah.
I didn't read the books or anything, so I don't. Did you read the books when you were watching it the first time? Which
I
I know
didn't
it
start reading
changes
the books.
after so many seasons. Like there is no really like material to read.
Yeah, I didn't start reading the books until I want to say season 2 or season 3, maybe. The books.
But it's kind of like that. Like you're learning characters. It literally feels like, and I said this last episode, it feels like I'm watching the Game of Thrones show. Like this is like season 9 or something. But everyone I know is not born yet. First off. And I'm learning all these new characters. I'm watching all these chess matches start up with like the politics, just like it's literally, they're doing a great job with it. And it's weird just because I don't know, like every week I'm like, here we go. It's Game of Thrones. And the only thing we haven't had happen yet is just people just get killed. Like right away, just get murdered. Like, oh, you like this character? Dead. Like Red Wedding or Ned Stark or something, I love it so far. I really do. I will say, so this episode, there's one thing that really stands out in my mind, and I feel like it's a huge blunder on Viserys' part. I can't think of dude's name. Valerian. I cannot think of his first name.
Which guy?
Dreadlock. Valerian.
Oh, you're talking about Corlys.
Yes. So he makes a proposal, and essentially it's Viserys, who lost his wife in episode 1. She died She pretty much died during childbirth. To strengthen the crown and his reign, he needs to remarry. They offer his daughter, which would be essentially his niece or something, cousin, niece, something, somehow related because he's related to that guy's wife because she's the queen that never was.
Cousins, yes.
They're cousins.
Yeah, like second cousin or something like that. I can't remember.
And before you guys say
number.
anything, spoiler, if you don't know, Targaryens and incest are fine. They like to keep the bloodline pure. That is something the Targaryens did. They were about that incest life. Like, no shit. Right, Christian?
Yep, that's correct.
So that's not a big deal to them. She's like
that's
12,
actually,
which is weird. So, but again, that's how arranged marriages worked back then.
Let me cut you off real quick because this just adds to what you were just saying. A lot of people don't really know this watching the show because they didn't read the books and stuff. But like the king, his wife, one of the reasons why she keeps miscarriaging is because they are brother and sister. Like they are Jaime Lannister and Cersei. Yeah, there's brother wives or whatever. Like they were related that way. So that's one of those things that you see in the book and stuff, but they don't spend a whole lot of time on. But they don't mind intermingling the bloodlines like that. That's like you just said, they do keep it pure. But like so many times of doing that, you start to it takes a toll, man. It definitely takes a toll. It has repercussions. So that's what's going on with that. And so that just further proves your point there is what I wanted to get at.
But what I was saying though, so like he pretty much proposes, marry my daughter, strengthen the houses of Valerian and Targaryen. You know, it'll make the realm happier. It'll show strength. It'll make your rule better. All this. She's 12. Viserys, I have no clue how old he is. Which they all have white hair. They have silver hair to be a Targaryen. I mean, he's older. I don't know how old. It's weird, but that's how proposed marriages worked back then. It would pretty much be like, here, you know, politics stuff. And so there's that, and it's the smart play to bring strength and stability. But on the other side, you have the Hand of the King, who I am getting such strong Littlefinger vibes from. Like, God, I'm getting vibes of that.
I've been seeing a meme go around that instead, before Littlefinger, you had Middle Finger, and they're calling this guy Middle Finger right now.
Dude, does he not seem like it? Like I can't see. Okay, when you would see like Jaime Lannister, even one hand, or shit. What is that dude's name? Battle of the Bastards. It's not Jon Snow. It was Ramsay Bolton.
Oh, Ramsay.
Like you could see them actually like. They have Ramsay Bolton was more of an archer. That's probably a bad example. Okay, you could see them like actually killing people. Like maybe they could do it like devious, like Daemon in this. You can see Daemon would go chop somebody's head off. Littlefinger, you didn't get that. He was more of like the sneaky stab you in the back, screw you in politics kind of thing. This dude has that vibe to me big time. Mm-hmm. And I already hate him. And I'm like, God, here we go. We have our new Littlefinger, like devious little shit. Anyways, he has been sending his daughter, which is the same age as the heir, Rihanna. How do you say her name?
Rhaenyra.
Wow, I was way the hell off. Rhaenyra. Same age-ish as Rhaenyra. They're like best friends or whatever. He's been sending her to comfort the king, which is a play to make the king want her because she is a pretty girl. I don't know how old they are, though, in this. 15? 16? Maybe?
I don't remember the exact age. I need to go back and read the book again.
They're like, they have to be mid-teens because there's older forms of them we'll see later, like different actresses.
They are young. They are very young.
But he's been sending as like go comfort the king, go read to the king, go spend time, you know, like he's playing that game and it ends up working because he chooses that will be his wife he will take. Which then pisses off the Valerians. They go to Daemon. And as soon as he announced it, I was like, oh shit, here we go. I was like, they're immediately going to go back Daemon and this is going to be the start of the war. Like we're already dividing. But yeah, like that whole politic chess match Game of Thrones feel to me, it's got me excited for each week. I can't wait to watch another episode and just have that Game of Thrones fix that I've apparently desperately missed. Um, it's been good, man. It has been good. I really have enjoyed it so far. I hope they continue this path that they're doing. I hope they don't screw it up. But again, they have source material. Literally, all this is laid out, and they know where they have to go. Like you already know where Game of Thrones is going to start, who's alive, what's happened to date, because they give you history. So they don't have, I feel like, a lot of room to really change a lot to get where they need to go. And yeah, the intro is fire. Has the Game of Thrones song with new like background video, super sick. Love that. I was trying to think. There's something else. There's something else I was going to say about it, and I can't even remember now. I went blank. Christian, what do you think about it so far?
So, this was meant to be the longest segment for me because I kind of wanted to go back over the episode, essentially like you just done, just a little bit more in depth. So, if you don't mind, allow me to take you guys on the journey that was the second episode of House of the Dragon.
Oh, before Christian goes on a rant, after one episode, this show got renewed for a second season. One freaking episode, they renewed it. Just saying.
I mean, they were going to renew this shit.
Oh, yeah. Well, you knew it was going to get views because it's Game of Thrones. Like, it had to be Boo Boo Shoes. It still would have millions of views as Boo Boo Shoes. But the fact that it was good and got millions of views, dude, it's getting renewed. That's a money-making machine for them right now. Okay, go. Sorry, Christian.
No, you're good. You're good. So the intro was the same, Game of Thrones theme that we're used to. But instead of a map of Westeros, it's a Targaryen bloodline. It's the blood of Targaryens flowing through a family tree. So if you're really looking, you can see the family tree and all the bloodlines and how they split off up until you get to Rhaenyra, I believe, is the last one that we see on the tree. So I thought that was really cool. It goes through most of them. And like I said, if you go back through it and rewind and pause, you can see all the symbols that represent the different houses and all that. So that I really thought that was cool. And obviously everybody was just itching for the Game of Thrones theme again. So they just gave us exactly what we wanted. And I thought that was cool. That was a really good thing to do. And yeah, man, like that was how we started the episode off. I thought that was absolutely fantastic. And then after that, we see the stepstones that we heard about from the first episode. So you go through the stepstones, and then you see what is his name, Crab Feeder. We see Crab Feeder, and in the book now, I haven't like read all of the book and like in depth. I kind of like skimmed through it and read some choice chapters and shit. But I'm pretty sure in the book, Crab Feeder, they don't really describe his appearance too much in the book. They barely go over it. So they kind of did a lot of the shit for him as far as his appearance goes, strictly for the show. So him having that mask and all of that stuff, that's not in the book. That's strictly for the show, and the scars and all that shit. It looks cool though. It's memorable. So I think that's why they did that. So I do like it. I just wanted you guys to know that didn't read the book or don't plan on reading it. Like he doesn't look like that in the books. I believe this takes place 6 months after the first episode, like the time skip. I think it's 6 months. I heard somebody say a year, but I don't think it was that long. I'm pretty sure it was 6 months after. So we get a time skip, which is cool. And we'll get plenty of those throughout the season, I'm sure, until they're grown and all of that. But Rhaenyra is asked to choose a new Kingsguard, and she's really pissed off because she doesn't want to do that. And the reason why she was asked to choose a new Kingsguard in the first place was because she was speaking out of turn during a meeting with all the men going over plans and shit and what's happening with Daemon and what's happening with the Crab Feeder himself. Like she spoke up and gave them a plan that actually made a lot of sense, but the men didn't want to hear it because they're big strong men and they don't need a woman, right? So they pretty much are like, you need to go pick a new Kingsguard, blah blah blah. And even with that, she shows how resilient and resistant she is to certain things, because during that she straight up asks how many of these men have seen real combat, and the only one who has seen real combat, was a knight that she's already talked to, which was Sir Kristen Cole. And if you look, like it's really easy to miss, but they show you a shot overhead, and it's Rhaenyra standing on that step stool because she's too short to look over the podium or whatever, which I thought was hilarious. But if you look, all of those men have different banners. It's like House Stark, House Tully, blah blah blah. Like you go through all those houses and you see all of them have banners. They're all bannermen. But Sir Kristen Cole doesn't have a banner. So I thought that that was really interesting. Um, so she chooses him, and the King's Guard will directly be her bodyguard because she is the heir to the king currently. So they're showing us that she's chosen her new person. It's Sir Kristen Cole, which she already liked anyway, and he is now her bodyguard. So later on in the episode, we see her being guarded by Kristen Cole, and I thought that that was awesome. Awesome. So later on, we see that Damon went to Dragonstone with his lady who was the horror that he was with in the last episode. I forgot her name, guys. I'm so sorry. But there's just so many new names to learn, and hers just wasn't one that I kept up with. But anyway, he's calling himself the Prince and Rightful Heir, which is some shit you just can't fucking do. But he knows that he can do it because his brother's not going to have him killed. And he's just stirring the pot. You know, he's pissed off, so he's just starting some shit. He has no love for his current wife because that was an arranged marriage. And he's let us know multiple times now that he doesn't give a shit about his current wife and that he wants to take that whore. Like I said, I forgot her name. He wants to take her as his new wife, and he's telling everybody that she's pregnant and that their child. He wants to do all of the traditional Targaryen shit for their new child. Blah blah blah.
Mysaria?
So
Is that her name?
happening. Mysaria, that's her name. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I totally forgot her fucking name, dude. Like I just didn't have the bandwidth to remember.
It's a lot of names to keep up with. It's Game of Thrones. Until like we get a couple seasons or episodes in, it's gonna be, yeah. It took me a while to learn Game of Thrones names.
So Alicent, which is Rhaenyra's best friend, and the king are getting closer to each other. They're getting to know each other. And here's the thing, dude. She's getting so close to the king that he did something that people in real life only do when they're really into you. He showed her his fucking nerd collection, bro. Like his nerd collection being the setup of everything that they have. Like what is it? Dragon's Landing. I forget what it is. He shows her all his shit, and he accidentally breaks one of his dragon figures. And I just remember as soon as he broke it, he just goes 7 hells. And that just reminded me of Robert Baratheon from the original season 1 of Game of Thrones. He used to say 7 hells all the time, every time he got pissed off. So I thought that was really cool to see. And I like the callback. But he breaks his nerd collection figures, which is foreshadowing for him literally breaking up his family, if you caught that. The king is asked by Corlys to wed his 12-year-old daughter. I think her name is Lyanna. Or is it Lyanna Valerian? I think that's her name. But yeah, she's 12 years old, dude. And it's really fucking creepy. And they take a walk through the garden, which is also super fucking creepy. But I don't know if you caught it. Most of their conversation was her asking about that dragon that they can't find right now, because that's like her main storyline in the book is trying to find that dragon and be the next writer for it and stuff like that. So I'm sure that'll come back up in future episodes when we see her again as an adult. And then she also mentions that she won't have to bed the king until she's 14. So it's so fucking weird because she's like, my mom told me I won't have to bed you for 2 more years. That's fucking strange, especially for us, where you don't even start going into that shit until 18. It's just weird. But anyway, so that was super fucking creepy.
It's weird for him too. You can tell he's like,
Yeah, he doesn't want it to happen, and he's asking people confidentially if he should do it or not, and everybody's on board for it because it's a good match, and all of them are worried about the kingdom and him having heirs and all that shit.
It's a good political move for them.
Yeah. And the people that he talks to tell him straight up, like, yeah, it's good. It's a good political move. That's what you got to do as the king. Yeah, you should totally do that. It's fine.
Can you imagine a 12-year-old queen, though? What the hell?
It, Jesus Christ, it's fucking weird, man. Um, but then you see that Alicent has his dragon figure repaired, and then her father wants I forget her father's name right now. We
Otto.
just talked about him being Otto, yeah. So her father Otto, like, clearly has been positioning her to get close to the king for this reason, so that he'd have more power later. If they get married, he has more power. She has more power. Their family name is gone up in the ranks. Like, you can totally tell that's what's going on right there, because if you even look in the first episode, every bit of information that goes to the king goes to Otto first. And Otto decides what information to tell the king before he tells him. So that lets you know where his allegiances lie right there. So we already saw that during the first episode when they were doing the tournament, when Damon fought Sir Kristen Cole and all that shit. Like, we saw that during then. So we already know what kind of person Otto is. We know that he's undercover, a piece of shit. Like, we get all that, if you're paying attention. So she's nervous about, she's nervous about being with the king because her father already told her you'll go to his bedchambers tonight, you'll do this, you'll do that, like, pretty much saying, like, do everything it takes for him to want you, and then eventually we'll get what we want. I'll get what I want, because she doesn't really want that. She does like the king, but he's also like her fucking dad, her granddad, if that. Like, he doesn't really want. I mean, she doesn't really want to be with him in that way. She does like getting to know him because he's sweet to her, he's nice and stuff, but you can tell that she feels some kind of way about it, and her father's pushing it, and she does whatever her father tells her to do. She's already told us that she does this because she confided in Rhaenyra in the first episode, and I think in this episode too, when she was trying to get Rhaenyra to go to her dad to talk, and then also trying to get the king to go to Rhaenyra and talk so they could mend their relationship. So
So
she
one,
did that.
I want to throw one thing
Go
out
ahead.
about Viserys. I think he's a good king. Like, I get a feel that he's a good, like, compassionate king. Like, he does what he
Mm-hmm.
has to, but he's not like a tyrant, you know? The other
Yeah.
thing, I got a real Robb Stark vibe from him with the whole arranged marriage, like needing to take a wife thing. Because if you remember, Robb Stark, he was supposed to marry somebody and he chose not to and went against the grain. I got that
Yeah.
vibe from that whole scene. I don't know if you did or not.
Um,
Like, there
I
was the smart move by
probably
Robb
not.
Stark. He was supposed to marry wasn't Tully, was it? It was it the Tullys? Who was he supposed to marry? Do you remember that?
Yeah, he was supposed to marry one of the daughters of that old guy that has
I
all
can't,
those
yeah, whatever his name.
daughter wives. I
And that
forgot his
was the
name.
right move, but then he chose love, which I feel like is kind of what Viserys did. Because, I mean, I feel like, I don't know. I mean, because that wasn't on the table and he's choosing her. It's not like the council was like, hey, you could marry Hightower. So that's kind of why I got that vibe. Like, going against what is the smart political move.
Well, the thing is, it's not real love.
No.
It's orchestrated by Otto. So I would agree with you if both of them really wanted this, then it would make sense. But that's not the case.
Well, he
Otto
thinks it's real love,
manipulated
though.
both of them. He thinks it does because he's lonely and sad and hurting, bro. So, like, it's just manipulation at its
Yeah.
worst, essentially. So fuck Otto, he's a piece of shit. Moving on, like, I agree with you though. Like, I would agree with you more if it were real love and
But I just
not
said I got that
manipulation.
vibe, is kind of what I'm getting at. Like, the Robb Stark not choosing the right path on the whole relationship. Also, do you not see that, like, at some point in the show, we're going to have, like, the destruction of House Valerian as well as Hightower? Because they're not in Game of Thrones that I remember. They talk about Valerian, but you don't see any House Valerian people, and definitely no Hightower people.
Well, if you're really paying attention, you don't really see any of the three. You don't see a lot of Valerian, you don't see a lot of Targaryen, and you don't see
Yeah, true.
Hightower as well.
Targaryen's
That's
down to
because
2 members, 3 Jon Snow, but 2, and then 1's gone in like the first few episodes.
yeah, man, like, that shit is
We're about to have damn
it's definitely
bloodbath.
Yeah, man, that's the whole point of this, right? So that's what we're waiting for. But with that said, though, I'll keep moving on so I can get through this because I know we've been going for a long time this episode. But
It's all Jordan Peele's fault.
so we do see later on that Damon stole the dragon egg from the king, and it was the egg of the brother that passed, right after their wife or his wife passed as well during childbirth. So he doesn't really want to do much, but he's pissed off. So he tells Otto to go there. But the thing is, like Otto's group of people, like they're going to get fucking slaughtered, right? Because they're not fighters. They don't see a lot of real combat is the thing. And that's what Rhaenyra was talking about earlier in the episode. So she flies in there with her dragon, straight up goes to Daemon and says like, do you wish to kill me? Because this is my area. This is my land that you're claiming for your own, saying that you're the heir. So either you kill me or you give me the shit back. And you can tell that the thing is, like, well, I'll get into it in a second. But the pregnancy was a bluff. We found out. Daemon didn't want to kill Rhaenyra. He clearly loves Rhaenyra. Like he cares about his family. He actually really does give a shit about his family. He doesn't like the people surrounding his family. Like Otto, he already let us know that he thinks Otto's a cunt, which he is. And we should be following Daemon because even though Daemon is a fucking man baby and he's really annoying, he's not wrong. Otto is a piece of shit. And the king is so used to being he's so used to reigning with peace that he doesn't know how to focus in times of war. And this, unfortunately, is a time of war. And he keeps doing everything in his power to sweep everything under the rug so that there is no violence, there's no bloodshed, because he doesn't know how to rule that way. And he doesn't want to either. He's not taking it seriously. And Daemon is. Do I think Daemon would be a better king? Not really, because Daemon is ruthless, but he's also not wrong right now. Like, I don't hate Daemon right now because all the shit he's doing is really fucking annoying, but it's for attention. Like, he does all this shit because he knows that his brother will give him the attention that he so craves. Like, his main thing was actually being Hand of the King, not necessarily being the new king. He does want to be king, obviously, but he wants to be king even more because he knows his brother can't father anything but girls. And every time he does have a boy, they always die. So he's like, I should be the king because I can continue our family line and I actually give a shit about our family. I don't want us to die into obscurity and blah, blah, blah. And he's willing to fight. Like he'll go to war. Daemon will go to war, which we will see in episode 3. They definitely go to war with crab feeders. So we'll see how that turns out. Anyway, I just like the fact that they are showing us that Damon's not a complete POS. He totally does give a shit about his family. He's an asshole, but he's not a monster. He loves his family over everything, like literally over everything. That's all he ever talks about. So I like seeing that. In the book, though, Damon's his lady, like whatever you said her name was, I already forgot. In the book, she actually was pregnant. Massaria, yeah. In the book, she was pregnant and she lost the baby during a storm. Like she was on a boat, there was a bad storm, some shit popped off, and then she ended up losing the baby. So in the book, she was pregnant but lost the baby. Just so you guys know that did happen. And then when the king is supposed to make the announcement that he is going to marry Corlys's daughter, that is 12, he chooses Alicent Hightower, which pisses off pretty much everybody and shocks everybody else. And then after that, you see the last scene of the show was Corlys having a secret meeting with Daemon about going to war with the crab feeder. And even in that last scene, Daemon once again lets Corlys know that he can say whatever he wants about his brother, but Corlys cannot. That's like the line that he gives us before the episode ends. So that's just further proving my point that though Daemon is he's a whiny bitch sometimes, he does give a shit about his family. He does love his brother. He does want to stay on top because he thinks that their family deserves, where they are. And I really, like I said, once again, I just really like that they keep showing us that even though Daemon is an annoying asshole, he does give a shit about his family, and he will not allow anybody to talk shit about his brother. This is the second time now that we've seen Damon specifically say that he doesn't want people talking shit about his family, his brother included, because the first time we saw that was when he called Otto a cunt, because he truly believes that Otto is out for his own gain, which is the truth. And like I said again, man, I can't keep emphasizing how much Damon
Matt Smith's
is a
doing good
relatable
as
character.
Damon, I think.
Dude, Matt Smith is killing it. Damon's character is one of the
Much
most
better than
interesting
Morbius. I didn't care
characters.
for him in Morbius, but I like him in this. Like,
Yeah, well, I mean, when you give him a movie that doesn't have fucking whatever I can't even think of his name right
Jared
now.
Leto.
The guy who plays him. Yeah, when you take Jared Leto out of the equation, then you can really act, because Jared Leto has a tendency to pick movies that are just bad, and he acts really bad, and his whole method acting way of going about shit is just stupid and dangerous. And
Inner
anyway,
Morbius
all
rant
that
from Christian right now.
yeah, a whole nother rant. But anyway, though, I love this episode. I can't wait to see the next one. I'm super excited.
Next
They're
one we
really
get
doing.
Allison has a baby in the next one, correct? And it's Aemon, which would be, or no, it's Aegon, I think. Excuse me, Aegon.
Yeah, Aegon.
I think it's what they said, Aegon, and that will be the new heir because it's a boy.
Yeah, after he already promised Rhaenyra that he didn't intend to replace her as heir. So yeah, that's about to start some shit.
Now I wonder, will that make Rhaenyra jump to Daemon's side? Because they have a love for each other and a respect. You can tell. Kind of like you said with Daemon and family. Anytime she comes over to Daemon, he can be really sinister, and you can tell he's violent. He's a man baby, all that. But around her, he's reasonable. They can talk, and like even with the egg and stuff, they can, I don't know, they can work things out. So I'm curious to see if she jumps sides. I need to read and get ahead of the game, but
I mean, I can tell you more about that right now.
I mean, maybe we shouldn't. Is that a spoiler?
I mean, it is a spoiler because it's coming straight from the books, but it answers and you literally just asked.
Well, let's just wait. Let's wait.
Damn, I was hoping to say that because I really wanted to.
Let's wait. Oh,
what I can tell you that's not ruining anything, because it's in the trailer of the show that we've already seen a couple of times. Rhaenyra does marry Corlys's son when he gets a little older. Like they're a couple and they have children of their own.
What's his name?
I honestly forgot his name. Like, it's
Is that
hard
him?
to up. I don't want to lie and say yeah because I forgot.
It's the only
But they already
Valerian
showed
I've
us,
seen Jacaerys
in
right
the trailer for House of Dragon, like the trailer that showcased the show and the dragons and shit. They showed us them being married already, so like you can see.
So
that
we're gonna
in
get a
there.
time jump, is what you're saying this in episode 3.
We're gonna get multiple time jumps, but in episode 3 we'll probably get another one, because I mean, like I said, episode
our
1
young
and 2
actresses for Alicent and Rhaenyra, are we going to lose them after a couple more episodes? Because I know there's the girl from Olivia Cook. She's from Bates Motel. She's going to take over as Alicent, like an older Alicent. So they have different actresses lined up, obviously, as they age. Are we about to just lose the young ones altogether, or are they going to jump back in time to them from time to time?
So I've purposely not been looking at too much of this stuff because I didn't want to see everything. But from what I understand, we're going to be getting a lot of jumping back and forth.
Okay.
So I don't think we'll completely lose the actors or actresses, but that also kind of depends on where they leave off season 1. We know that we're getting a season 2. So the thing is, they have to find a way to believably have these characters age, because young Rhaenyra and young Alicent are going to just keep getting older. So they have to keep doing these time skips and aging the characters up so that we can believably think about how these kids are. So that's what's going on with that.
Okay. It's been good, though, so far. I've really enjoyed it. I'm happy with what they're doing. But that's going to be it. So we'll have episode 3 next week. Episode 3, episode 4 of She-Hulk, episode 3 of House of Dragon, and then whatever other goodies we get into. Maybe some horror stuff.
I think it'll be episode 4 of She-Hulk, right?
Sorry. Episode 4 She-Hulk, episode 3 of House of Dragon. Is that not what I said? Did I say it backwards?
Yeah, I think you said it backwards. It's all good.
Yeah. And the length of this podcast is brought to you by Jordan Peele, who caused us to run over. Thanks, Jordan Peele. We appreciate it. Stop making good movies. Actually, don't. I take that back. Keep making good movies.
Don't ever stop.
But that takes us to our final segment. And you know what this is. It's time to
pass the whiskey.
Because it's the last call.
Whiskey!
All right. This week's last call question comes from the reigning legend himself on the inside. He says, favorite ice cream. Need brand, flavor, toppings, all of it. I'll start. I honestly don't know that I have a specific brand. I will say I love just chocolate ice cream. I love Rocky Road. Probably Rocky Road would be what we get the most. Me and the missus. It seems to be probably one of our favorites. Just for like plain ice cream with nothing on it. But if we want to do like all kinds of stuff, a banana split with like hot fudge and whipped cream and cherries and bananas and nuts, all that stuff, dude, so good. I would mess it up, but I really don't eat a lot of ice cream. We really don't eat a ton of ice cream. Trying to think what else. Ooh, ice cream sandwiches are always good. We do get those occasionally from time to time. Those are always delicious. But yeah, that's about it. I'm not very super exciting. Christian?
It's funny that you asked this because I actually ate ice cream last night.
Oh my God.
I treated myself to some ice cream. I am a a lot of people call me an old man, and it's whatever. But I'm a huge fan of coffee flavored ice cream. That is my
coffee
shit.
flavor is good.
Yeah, it's so good, man. And I don't want anything in it. I just want the ice cream. Give it to me in a cup or a waffle cone. Those are the only two acceptable ways to eat it, and it's fantastic.
Okay. Yeah. So thank you for the question, sir. I would love to know on the inside
Really
what your favorite ice cream is. What?
I said I really did like that question because it just so happens that I ate ice cream last night, and we went to this place and they give you all the options you can have, and then you can do all the samples and shit. And I actually, you know what? I lied to you. I got 2 scoops of ice cream last night. I got coconut ice cream and I got the coffee ice cream, and together it tasted like I was essentially eating coffee with like coconut creamer in it, and it was fantastic.
You fancy.
I went fancy yesterday.
Impeccable timing on the inside for giving the question, and as well, let us know what your favorite ice cream is. Or viewers, let us know as well. Viewers, listeners, sorry. Old streaming habits. But that's going to do it for this episode of Sippin With Sin. Thank you so much for listening and for being here for yet another week. If you made it this far, you're a real one. We appreciate you. Submit your last call questions in the Gilded server. We have a whole section for Sippin With Sin. Gilded.gg/Sinister pack in the application. Put I'm from the podcast. You have sections such as episode chat, topics, suggestions, drinks. Show us what you're sipping on. Last call questions. Put your question in there to get featured on an episode. Sinister tales, personal horror stories, or stories, and things you find on the internet that are spooky, that are obviously not like, don't post Halloween storyline, but like scary stories and stuff to be featured potentially on a segment of Sinister Tales, and just talk to us. There's lots of other gaming channels and other things in there. There's a Christian corner, Christian's Corner. I don't know why I say a Christian corner. Christian's Corner, where you have comic talk, art, music, movies, and more. You can discuss with Christian, talk to him, or you can just talk with the community on streaming and stuff like that. But gilded.gg/Sinister pack in the application, just put from the podcast. You can also find Sippin With Sin on the social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok at Sippin With Sin, SIPPIN with Sin. Go drop a follow, say hello. You can submit your last call questions on one of those as well. And you can find me personally, Sinister, at IamSinister TV on Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff. You can find me streaming live on Twitch, twitch.tv/IamSinister TV, Facebook Gaming, fb.gg/IamSinister TV, or TikTok at IamSinister TV as well. You can also watch the video version of this podcast on YouTube, on my personal YouTube, youtube.com/IamSinister, every Wednesday at 8 a.m. Central Time. And you can listen to every new episode, the audio versions, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Overcast, Anchor.fm, and more. Every Wednesday, 8 a.m. Central Time, new episode drops. Rate it 5 stars. Subscribe, follow, share it. Love it. Keep spreading the word about it. Christian, where can the folks find you?
You guys can find me on Instagram and what's the other social media that I have? I almost forgot. TikTok. You guys can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Venin Inc. That is VENANDINK, all one word. Contrary to popular belief, I don't like social media too much, so those are the only places you can find me currently. But we'll see about making some new social medias later for the people who love it. Thank you so much.
Heck yeah. And that's going to do it for this episode. Like I said, spooky season around the corner. We're going to plan some spooky content for you guys. Maybe some lists. Maybe we can list some stuff, break down some horror stuff, or watch movies and discuss. I don't know. If you have a movie,
I would love to have an episode where we both go over our top 5 favorite horror movies of all time. And we do a deep dive into that. That'd be cool.
I'm down. 35 minutes of Human Centipede.
Oh my God.
I'm just joking. Okay. All right. That's going to do it for this episode. But we got some spooky content coming your way soon, as well as other content. I believe Lord of the Rings is coming out soon.
It's out now.
Oh, it's out now. So we'll probably have that to discuss as well here in the future. So there you go. But thank you for listening. Appreciate you all. Keep showing the love. Keep spreading the word. Keep growing the podcast. We appreciate you. And Christian, shut her down for the night.
Thank you all so much for tuning in to yet another episode of Sipping With Sin. Be sure to leave a 5-star review, smash that like button, and leave your comments in the comment section below. But most importantly, guys, don't get gutted.
That's right. See you next time.